How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to a new video. So in today's video I am going to be discussing the new Josh Trank film Capone, and it stars Tom Hardy, Linda Cardinelli, Carl McLachlan and Matt Dillon. Capone is played by Tom Hardy in this film, and the film is basically about Capone's last days, where he lives in Florida and his mental health is deteriorating because he has dementia and he's slowly going crazy and he hallucinates. And it's a weird film, Capone, if you ask me, because I was very excited for it because Josh Trank is a very divisive figure in the film industry at this point. His first film, Chronicle, was basically a sleeper hit. However, since then, he's just been very miss with his work. Fantastic Four, which he did in 2015, was atrocious, and everyone hated that, including me. I think it's one of the worst comic book films ever made. So a part of me was kind of interested in what he was going to do next, and there was all this drama about him on Twitter and online, but I don't really care. I just want to see if this guy was a one-trick pony with Chronicle or if he's actually a great filmmaker. And sadly, I feel like he might be a one-trick pony because Capone is kind of garbage. So let's just break down Capone. So Capone is, like, genre-wise a mess. It tries to be a gangster film, but it tries to be like The Shining of gangster films. It tries to go for like and it even tries to be like basically like almost a Lynch gangster film as well, where it's a bit weird and scary and surreal but funny, but it doesn't work. The film's attempts at surrealism just fall flat. The comedy is just aggressively unfunny, and you find yourself laughing a lot in this film about the wrong things, you know, things you shouldn't be laughing at. One of those things is Tom Hardy's performance. In my opinion, this is Tom Hardy's worst performance by far. Like, this is laughably bad, and he did Venom and he's still decent in this. Recently I saw the film Locke starring Tom Hardy, and that was much better. It was a really simple film, but his performance was excellent. Yet in Capone, he's honestly atrocious. He sounds like he ate like a cigar and it's stuck in his throat, and the whole time he's like trying to cough up this cigar.
Fucking bum!
Fuck, jump right up in the
That was
fucking
mine!
boat.
That was mine!
It's just abysmal, and it's so disappointing seeing such a great actor like Tom Hardy give such a laughably bad performance. Like, this performance is as bad as Gotti. And another thing I hated about this film is the messy direct. The film has horrible tonal shift from super serious to like try and be lighthearted and funny, and then it tries to go to like a surreal place. It doesn't work at all, and the film tries to do these sort of like, ooh, this character was a hallucination, but when they set up the character in a previous scene where it's just the character alone, it makes no sense. The big twist hallucinations are executed really badly. On top of this, the editing was done by Trank, and it's not very good. It feels very rushed, it's all over the place, and some of the cuts are extremely jarring for the wrong reasons, and there's no cohesion to the way it's edited and its pace. Get the editing is done try and emulate Capone's sort of mental state and his deterioration, but it's painful to watch for all the wrong reasons. Now, another thing I thought was just a complete misfire is the dialogue. The dialogue feels so incredibly generic, and like at some points it feels like you're watching Gotti rather than some sort of like surrealist David Lynch gangster film like Josh Trank is trying to do. And I don't know, I can see the film becoming a cult classic because of how badly written it is and how laughable Tom Hardy's performance is. On top of this, the sound design, absolutely abysmal. Like, there are some scenes where people are communicating via radio, and I was honestly like, this is awful. It feels so fake. Every sound effect used just doesn't feel real, and everything pulls you out of the film for all the wrong reasons. However, there are some things in the film that I do feel count as redeeming elements. So, for example, I thought the supporting cast were actually pretty decent. Linda Cardinelli and Matt Dillon especially, I feel like they carried their weight and they did their best, and they were much better than Tom Hardy, that's for sure. On top of this, I did feel that the set design was pretty good. The props and set design and the costume design was great. While the prosthetics from Tom Hardy are frankly fairly laughable, I did think other mise-en-scène in the film is pretty damn good, especially like the golden Tommy gun. That looked pretty epic. The mixing, the sound mixing was a big step up from the sound design, because it was mixed pretty well, but too bad the sound design's kind of crap. In addition to this, I thought another thing the film does pretty well is that it looks quite good. Visually, it's not the worst. It has some interesting visual elements to it, and the cinematography wasn't that bad or bland. It was serviceable, and hell, for a film this bad, a serviceable film element is pretty good. Like, I thought some of the lighting was quite cool, and some of the shots were quite pretty. However, I wish the camera moved in more interesting ways to further reflect Tom Hardy's character's state of mind, and I just wish like the overall film and visual language was more interesting. Last but not least, I did think the music in the film was pretty good, especially the final track that plays through the credits, but that's about it in terms of things I like. So overall, I would say Capone is a complete misfire from Trank. It is not as bad as Fantastic Four, but it's still pretty garbage. Tom Hardy gives his worst performance yet, and you can tell Trank was so caught up in making a gangster film that would stand out from the crowd. That would be like a Lynch sort of gangster film where it's like weird, surreal, it's horror, it's scary. Like The Shining was made by David Lynch, and that was made into like a gangster film. But in all of this, I think he forgot what makes a good film, and this is a laughable film that is definitely in the bottom tier of this year. And for all the reasons I've mentioned, I'm gonna give this film a 3 out of 10. So that's my review for today. If you want to see a much better gangster film, go watch The Gentleman by Guy Ritchie. Please do make sure you like this review and subscribe. Maybe leave a comment. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys in a new video soon.